Hello and welcome to Hot Tea with Holly. I am Holly and I am having a hot cup of tea. I'm here every Tuesday at this time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, every Tuesday. If you're here with me live, please say hello. If you're watching this in playback, do the same. Use the comments down below and say hello. So today we are talking about the fact that as you sit here with me right now, you are losing muscle. That's right. Even if you strength train regularly, even if you eat right, even if you are committed to a healthy lifestyle like I am, simply because of the medical fact of sarcopenia, you are losing upwards to almost 2% of your lean muscle mass per year as you age. Now, after the age of 18, after the age of 18, your muscle loss is a little slow, but every single year after the age of 18, it's incrementally increasing to the point where when you get up to the age of 50, you can be losing as much as 2% of your lean muscle mass per year. And that's crazy. We're going to be talking about that today. What is sarcopenia? How does it affect you? Does it affect you? What you can do about it? And I'm going to give you some very specific tips on things that you can do so that you can win the battle. But first, welcome to Hot Tea. If you are here with me, say hello. Today, I am having the perfect cup of sencha jade. No, Japanese sencha from Hernie & Sons. So sencha jade was historically my favorite green tea from Teavana. And so for 14 years, I drank sencha jade from Teavana. Now this is my new favorite, Japanese sencha from Hernie & Sons. No, this is not sponsored. No, they don't pay me. No, they don't give me free product, although I wish that they would. So maybe they will, but no, I buy this. Anyway, Hernie & Sons is one of my favorite tea makers. Japanese sencha is my go-to loose leaf green. It's just a very pure, vegetal, true green. I don't like my green with too much flavor unless it's a special occasion. I also don't like some of the more earthy versions of Japanese sencha, which is called bancha, where they put in the rice and the popcorn. Not my favorite. I like a basic green. And one of the things I like about the Japanese sencha from Hernie & Sons is that it's delicious. It's from Japan, but it's not super expensive. And so I have been going back to this time and time again. I make it very strong. I do make loose leaf tea because I'm a snob that way. So welcome to Hot Tea with Holly. I am here every week having a cup of hot tea with you. If you're having a hot beverage with me, let me know if it's caffeinated or not, or even if you're having a cold beverage, let me know. Heidi, hello. If you're here with me live, please say hello. And if you're drinking a beverage, even if it's water, tell me about it. Now, if you are a caffeine fanatic like me, share with me, what is your favorite caffeinated beverage? So I have a client who's near and dear to me, who I've been working with for now 30 years. I don't think she watches me here very often, but I always find it interesting. She wakes up early in the morning and she drinks iced tea, very diluted iced tea in the morning, which I always thought was so interesting. If it was 5:30 in the morning, she gets up and she drinks iced tea. And I think she drinks a Darjeeling, which I always thought was so interesting. For some reason, I have a particular interest in people's caffeine habits. And if you don't drink caffeine, I want to hear about that too. It's the one crutch in my life that I haven't been able to get over. So this week's episode is dedicated to Japanese sencha, my favorite. Tell me about your caffeine favorites. Let's jump in. Today we are talking about the fact that you are losing muscle. It's a problem. It is upsetting. It is terrible. You do not want to be losing muscle. Listen, muscle is everything. I know if you're in my community, you've heard me talk about it before. Muscle is everything. It's everything. It is what keeps your bones and your joints in place all throughout your lifespan. It is what fuels movement so that you can be a better athlete. It helps to keep your posture in better alignment so that you avoid aches, pains, and injuries. And oh, on that note, let's talk about injuries. Every single one of us is an injury waiting to happen. And I know that sounds a little alarmist, but it's true. Now, if you are new to my community, I have a degree in exercise physiology and nutrition. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist. I have worked very closely with physical therapists, athletic trainers, and I myself have trained some of the world's most famous people and athletes. And with 30 years of experience specifically in the gym, I know a thing or two. And early on in my career, something I learned from one of my mentors, who is a world-class physical therapist. He has about 67 Olympic medals from his clients to date or more. And one of the things that I learned from him is you are an injury waiting to happen. You are. And once you adopt that understanding, it gets a whole lot easier to train your body to be on the defensive. And let me tell you, I know there are other experts out there that will tell you it's about your core strength or it's about your flexibility or your mobility. I happen to disagree with that because when your muscles are in perfect alignment and balanced, your bigger muscles of your body will keep you moving in the right direction, and you don't have to rely on the smaller muscles of your core. Your latissimus dorsi is a big, huge muscle that has a lot of involvement in the placement of your spine and your core. Your glutes, as you know, I talk about the glutes all the time. Your glutes are designed to be the largest muscle group in your entire body. And they have so much more power to keep your pelvis in place over and more so than your core. So it's a lovely fall day here, but it's bug season and I have my door wide open. I've got crickets, grasshoppers, cicadas, and chipmunks and flies trying to get in my door. So hold on one moment because I need to close my door. I thought it would be lovely to get some fresh air today, but there is a chipmunk who sits outside of my office and he peeks around the corner at me and then he squeals and he runs away. And one of these days, I'm hoping he will actually come into my office and join me, but no such luck. So I'm closing the door. Back on topic here. So when you keep your muscles strong, it keeps your body in alignment. So you will avoid injury. Trust me, you do not want an injury. I've had them all. If you've had one, share your comment. Tell me what injury have you had. And we know it's no fun, especially if you are committed to being very active. An injury puts you on the bench. It takes you out of the game and it really changes your in season. It's no fun to be injured, small or large. And the best way that you can avoid it is to really be embracing progressive resistance and strength training. And you know, I'm all about talking about it. So specifically today, we're talking about sarcopenia, the fact that as you sit here with me, you are losing muscle mass and what you can do about it. And some people, you know, early on in my career, I used to think, well, it's a fact of life. There's nothing I can do about it. And I have lots of muscle. But the truth is, every single one of us needs to fight tooth and nail to hold on to the muscle that we have and try to build more muscle so that you keep your metabolism firing 24/7, so that you keep your hormones optimized as you get older, so that you improve bone density, so that you can stay safe as you get older, and specifically so that you avoid some of the common pitfalls that so many people fall into as they get older. So right now in this moment, you're losing muscle, and that's called sarcopenia. Specifically what sarcopenia is the fact of life. As we get older, after the age of 18, we're actually declining. And it's the most depressing thought in the world, so I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot. But after 18, when you reach the peak of physical maturation, it's a downhill slope all the way on out. And it speeds up after 50. Especially for women, it speeds up after menopause because of the change in hormones. So you really have to be fighting that process of sarcopenia by working on adding your muscle and adding more muscle and maintaining the muscle that you have. It's everything. And as you know, I provide a lot of resources on how you can embrace real and proper progressive resistance training so that you can at least maintain the muscle you have. And if you're one of my closest friends, you're probably wanting to even add muscle. I have a totally free resource. If you haven't already grabbed it, please do. You can look up or look down, and there is a live link if you're watching this in playback. But you're going to go to my website, hollyperkins.com, add a /free offer, hollyperkins.com/offer. And you can download my 6-week strength and cardio program. It's got video tutorials to show you how to do the exercises. It's a 6-week progressive resistance program. It's a real program. I would say the value of this download is probably around $50, maybe $100, totally free. I created this resource a while back because so many women were like, where do I begin? It's a great place to begin. It's a great place if you've had an off season and you're coming back. So make sure that you grab that resource. I want to share something interesting with you guys. If you're here with me live, please say hello. Somebody is drinking Oh My Pumpkin Pie from Tumblewood Teas. So whoever that is on Facebook, for some reason, your name is not coming up. It just on my end, it says Facebook user. Let me know who you are. I'm so curious. Oh My Pumpkin Pie, because it is pumpkin season for sure. And say hello if you're here with me live. And if you're watching this in playback, I would love to hear from you. So I have something really cool that I'm going to do and I'm going to share with you. I dug up some powerful research on this topic that I want to share with you. And I taught myself how to share my screen here on StreamYard. I'm broadcasting live using a software called StreamYard, and I've been a little scared to actually share my screen, and so I figured it out. Sit tight, because I have got some powerful, really powerful research that I want to show you. And let me do that. Let's try this one. Let's look at this one first. Share. I did it. Can you believe it? Okay, so I'm going to take me off the screen so that you can just see this more closely, or at least I'm going to try to. There we go. Okay, take a look at this. So this is some research. Hold on, let me make sure I get over to the proper window because I want to bring you up to the top. And let me make sure I'm up to the top here. I'm still getting used to my software. There we go. Okay, great. So this is some research that I dug up. And this was specifically from 2010, past 11 years, right? If I'm doing my math right, which is still valid research. And this is just a basic article on an overview of sarcopenia, the facts and the numbers on the prevalence of it. And this was published in the Sarcopenia Muscle Journal of Research. All of that's listed up here. It's pretty powerful. So what I want to bring your attention to is, what is sarcopenia? After the age of 50, muscle mass decreases at an annual rate of 1 to 2%. And that could be higher depending on your lifestyle. Muscle strength declines by 1.5% between the ages of 50 and 60 and 3% after that. So that's your muscle strength. Just your strength starts to decline because of that reduction in lean muscle mass. I think I have another highlight down here. So specifically, I'm going to be sharing with you today on some things that you can do to reduce your muscle loss through strength training. And this article also talks about the treatment approaches to sarcopenia. Super interesting article. So it says, even if you've got the diagnosis, the treatment of sarcopenia remains challenging. But we do know that exercise and physical activity are important considerations for both sarcopenia prophylaxis, which means avoiding or mitigating sarcopenia, and the management of it. Because the truth is, even if you strength train hardcore, chances are you're actually still subject to sarcopenia. It will just be at a reduced rate. Progressive resistance training performed 2 to 3 times per week by older people and all people has been shown to improve gait speed, which is one measurement of sarcopenia, and overall muscle strength, which is another way that we take a look at and measure sarcopenia. It's how they're really able to say, to what degree are you losing muscle in older people? Now, that was the research specifically done on an older population, but the information still holds. And here is another journal research entry that I thought was pretty powerful. This one's from 2015, so past 6 years, even more recent. And specifically, we see a progressive decline in muscle mass and strength, termed sarcopenia, and it develops as a consequence of aging. And that citation is here. So we've already proven this over and over and over. The prevalence of sarcopenia reported varies widely depending on the definition and methods of assessment, but it ranges from 8 to 40% of people over 60. Now, I know you might not be over 60, but you're headed there one day. And now is the time to prevent it. You do not want to be falling into this category of 40% of people. Trust me, you do not. Sarcopenia results in frailty. It's why our older friends are so frail and unable to keep up with life. Loss of independence. I know some of you have walked that path with loved ones and aging parents. Physical disability and increased mortality in older adults. This article is also looking at specifically muscle loss and diabetes. And even if diabetes isn't in your family, you still need to keep an eye on it. Muscle plays various important roles in the human body. Thus, the loss of muscle mass and strength can cause a diverse range of functional disability and metabolic derangements in older adults. That's a terrible word, isn't it? Derangements, metabolic derangements. Basically what it means is what I've always talked about, this cascade of negative metabolic and hormonal reactions when you're not keeping your muscle up. Sarcopenia has been closely related to many clinical consequences, including functional disability, metabolic impairment, your metabolism becomes impaired, increased cardiovascular risk. That's right, strength training reduces your risk of all cardiovascular diseases, as well as dyslipidemia and mortality in older Korean adults. Now, this applies to everyone, of course, but specifically this study right here was conducted on Korean adults. And we've got one more quote here for you. Up until now, no pharmacologic agent to prevent or treat sarcopenia has proven to be as efficacious as exercise, mainly resistance training, and is in combination with nutritional intervention, which is adequate protein and energy intake. I talk about this all the time. This approach is currently the key strategy for the management of sarcopenia and frailty. Let me stop my share and come back to here. Heidi, let me know if I haven't stopped my share, but I think I did. I think I did it effectively. You should be able to see me now on screen. Still learning the technology over here, you guys. Every week, it's a different story in terms of technology. If you're here with me, hello, welcome to Hot Tea with Holly. I'm here every Tuesday now, 1 o'clock East Coast time, and I'm going to be talking about topics to help you use strength training and intentional nutrition to build the body that you need to keep up with the life that you love. And we're going to be looking at specifically progressive resistance as well as nutritional strategies. Thanks, Heidi. And I want to be bringing you some of the relevant research that's out there. Now, listen, I don't even believe that I need to be bringing research to a lot of our conversations because the things that I talk about have been proven for 50 years. And I know some people really like to have their evidence-based conversations. And I want to make sure that I bring that forward for you. Welcome, everybody. Okay, Rona, hi, how are you, my friend? Tracy Ann Jones, today you are drinking hot ginger tea with a splash of sugar-free caramel creamer, grated and boiled fresh ginger root. That sounds amazing. That's interesting. So it's fresh ginger with caramel. I bet that is delish. That sounds amazing. I love to make fresh ginger tea, and I find it such a chore. Peeling ginger and chopping it and then getting it to the right tea place is such a chore. I probably only do it once a month, but I'm always happy when I do. Tracy, share your recipe with us, specifically. How long do you boil it? Do you steep it? Do you just throw it right into your hot water? I would love to know, because I do think that ginger tea is just such an awesome addition to a healthy lifestyle. I love ginger tea. It's so good. It's so soothing. It's amazing. So let's continue on. What I want to jump into now, because I think we've already proven the case of how important it is for you to be avoiding the loss of muscle that just happens. It just happens as you get older, unfortunately. And even for those of us who are strength training, as the research recommends, 2 to 3 times per week, depending on the fact if you're actually improving your muscle mass or not, you're still looking at that 1 to 2% of muscle loss every year as you age. So when we look at losing weight naturally, releasing body fat easily in your sleep, for real, it's a thing. It's all about keeping your lean muscle mass high. And the only way to do that is through progressive resistance and strength training. Now, sprinting can do it, yoga can do it, Pilates can do it, body weight exercises in general can do it. But the only unlimited way that you can really increase your lean muscle mass is through progressive resistance. And the only way you can really be progressive is in the gym with weight loads where you're able to progressively make them heavier. So I want to talk specifically about a few key tips that you can do every single week to preserve the muscle you have, to build on the muscle you have, so that your metabolism stays high, so that your metabolism and your lean muscle mass naturally burn off the extra body fat that you don't need. The lean muscle mass that you develop through strength training also helps teach your body how to manage the carbohydrates that you eat. And that is why that research article that I just shared a moment ago talks about sarcopenia, keeping lean muscle mass, and diabetes. Because as you lose muscle mass, and if you are not strength training, your cells are not able to really handle and manage carbohydrates on a basal cellular level. That's right. Exercise in general and strength training specifically help your body improve insulin sensitivity. So if you have diabetes in your family, if you've got reactive hypoglycemia, if you're syndrome X, if you worry about getting diabetes, which I think everybody should worry about it to some degree or another, ideal stabilized blood sugar is everything. It's one of the major reasons why I created the Nutrition Project. And we all know that it really is the foundation to health, keeping stable blood sugar. So beyond what you eat, strength training and keeping your lean muscle mass can really help you keep your body managing the carbohydrates that you do eat better. So I want to share with you specifically some things that you can do and some very specific tips in your strength training life, in your workout programming that you can do to make sure that you are managing sarcopenia, keeping the lean muscle that you have, and adding more lean muscle so that you can be young for the rest of your life, so that you can keep up with your children or your grandchildren or your four-legged friends, so that you avoid a lot of those aging related injuries. So where I am in life right now, my personal life off camera allows me to be interacting more than usual with people who are older than 60, 70, and even people in their 80s. And so for the past year of my life, since the onset of the pandemic, I have seen more so up close and personal what happens when people don't keep up their strength training. And it really is the essence of the decline that could happen in your life if you don't stay on top of these things. It's not true that you have to become deconditioned and frail when you get older. Even if you live to the age of 94, there are 90-year-old women out there running marathons. There are 90-year-old grandmas out there, probably fitter than I am. And so it doesn't mean that just because you get older, you have to decline. And that work starts right now. That work starts now. You have to start laying the foundation of your lean muscle mass so that you avoid it, so that you've got the habit in place, so that if I win this battle, you will develop a love of strength training and you will start to see how much it impacts your life. So this morning I was up early and I just dove into some work. And before I knew it, it was 11 a.m. And I was feeling really like, ugh, right? I got up early from 7 to 11. It was work, 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 work. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so old. And I stood up from my desk and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I need to get some movement. So I hit the gym. And for about 50 minutes, all I did was some basic strength training moves. And it changed my whole feeling, my mood, my energy, my body was completely different from 50 minutes of strength training. No cardio, no flexibility, literally just the foundational strength training exercises that I know my body really, really needs. And guess what, friends who know me, those of you that know the story, I did barefoot walking lunges. That's right, Heidi Brenner. That's right, Jennifer Bean, if you're watching in playback. Barefoot walking lunges today. I've never been able to do them in my entire life. Why is that a big deal? Because I have foot and toe issues. The doctors call it arthritis. I call it weak glutes. And I've got very immobile toe joints that have really limited my lunging exercises. And I've been working on it all year and my toes are better than ever. I did body weight walking lunges. Barefoot walking lunges, no shoes. And it was amazing. And I felt so good afterwards. I'm so proud of myself. I probably did 60 walking lunges. It's amazing. Talk to me. Who is here with me today? So that was Amy. Okay, pumpkin pie tea. Gotcha, girl. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you love the evidence-based stuff. I'll keep it a-coming. So let me jump in specifically with some things that you can do to keep the muscle that you have, to avoid losing muscle, and to improve the amount of muscle that you need for the rest of your life. So the first thing that I want you to do, and this is a little bit of homework tonight, I want you to take a minute right now and get in touch with your why. What is your why for staying young into the future, staying healthy into the future, and working on your physical body now? What is your why? And I want you to think of 3 very specific reasons why it's important for you to stay young, to stay active, to be able to keep up with life. Why is it important for you? Is it because you want as much time as possible with your children? Is it because you want to play with your grandchildren? Is it because you just want to avoid that decline that could happen in life? I want you to take a moment and really get in touch with what happens in the future if you don't work on your physical ability now. If you decline into the future, and hopefully you live to the age of 94 or 100, and if you could imagine yourself as not strong and energetic, what's going to happen? What will life be like if you don't preserve this physical vehicle that's so important to you? And I want you to spend some time tonight journaling on why it's important for you to really Get serious about your strength training. Get serious about preserving your lean muscle mass, and get serious about building some muscle as you get older. Mine is because I don't have children, and that is a proactive choice I made in my life. And for me, my why is because I simply want to be able to keep up with the life that I love, the life that I want more of. There are so many things in life that I want to do, and I don't want to be limited by my body. And because I don't have children, there are times where I go to that dark place and it's like, who's going to take care of me when I'm older? And that gets really scary. Now, I know I'll be fine. I've got amazing, even though I don't have children, I've got nieces and a nephew. I've got dear friends who have children. I've got dear friends. I know I'm going to be okay. And I want to know that when I'm 94, I can take my trash out if I need to, right? I can pick up my dog if I need to. I can be strong as I go forward. I want to be able to keep up with life, and I want to live as much life as I possibly can. And keeping muscle is important for that. So I want you to get serious about your strength training. I'm sharing some specific tips right now on what you can do to prevent the muscle loss that happens as you age, and to prevent it, to keep the muscle that you have, and to even potentially build more muscle than you already have. And I'm going to be sharing even more tips in just a moment. So I want you to get serious about it and really commit. Don't strength train when you have time. Don't strength train when you feel like it. Don't put it at the bottom of your list. Make a commitment, get serious about it, and do it religiously no matter what. It is the number one task on my life list after my business. So right now in my life, my business, serving my clients, supporting you, serving you, producing free content, people and helping people is my number one top priority in life. And then my number two is taking care of my physical body. Number three are the other humans in my life that I love, but I guess they could be lumped into number one along with my business. So number one is really taking care of the people that I love and being with the people in my life. Part of that is through my business. And number two is taking care of my physical body. And at the top of that list, taking care of my physical body, is strength training. If I do nothing else all week long, I do strength training. I might not do any cardio. I might not do any walking. I might not do any yoga, but strength training will be in the picture. And I'm telling you, at the age of almost 50 this year, I'm going to stumble upon that number. I can't believe it. I'm going to be 50 this year. And you just wait till I show you my abs soon. I have a photo shoot coming up, and I'm going to be sharing my abs with you. There's not a lot of 50-year-olds that have a bod like I have right now, if I could brag on myself for a moment, especially given the challenges that I've been through in the past 3 to 4 years. And it's all because of my strength training. I am committed to at least 3 strength training workouts every single week religiously. Now, sometimes they are lower intensity strength workouts. Sometimes they are more challenging, but it's always there. Sometimes I'm doing body weight work, but inevitably I always add a resistance somewhere in the mix so that I am always doing some kind of true, proper progressive resistance. So one of the best tips for you today is to really commit, get serious that you're going to do this. And just like the research shows that I shared with you, and by the way, there's probably thousands of research citations that back this up. The sweet spot is 2 to 3 progressive resistance strength training workouts per week. Now, I'm going to take it a little bit farther. I personally don't think 2 is enough. I don't think 2 strength training workouts is enough to build muscle. I don't feel it's enough to add muscle. 2 really good strength training workouts per week is enough to slow sarcopenia and to prevent some of the muscle loss. 2 strength training workouts a week is enough to maintain your muscle loss. But I do not personally believe that it's enough to build muscle to the degree that you need as a woman, to build the body that you need to keep up with life. You got to be getting 35 minutes at a minimum, effective, proper, true strength training where you are working really hard to increase your resistance levels, how hard you're working, okay? So even if you do 5-pound bicep curls and you do that every single week for the past 2 years, that is good. But in order to really build muscle and maintain your muscle, you've got to get up to that 7 pounds and then 10 pounds and then 12 pounds. Bicep curls, you should be at a minimum of 15 pounds. And I believe every woman of every age can work up to a minimum of 15 pounds on a dumbbell bicep curl. And that's just one example. So 3 workouts a week are going to help you. They're also going to make you just so much better. It's going to improve your energy. It's going to improve your hormone balance, your mood, your happiness, everything in life. It's going to make you feel so much better. So what I want you to do, your homework for tonight, is to journal about your whys. And the question is, why is it important to me to really take care of my physical health going into the future? And why is strength training important for me? And what does my future look like if I don't work hard to preserve the muscle that I have? What will my future look like if I become less able to keep up with life? If I become more frail? If I become more deconditioned? What is your life going to look like? Because if you journal about that and you really get in touch with that, that's going to stay with you forever. I promise. I hope this is helpful. Let me know either if you're here with me live or in the comments below. I'm going to check in with those that are live with me on Facebook right now and see if you have any questions. So this is Hot Tea with Holly, and this is taking the place of Tea Time with Holly on Mondays and Live with Holly on Wednesdays. Both of those shows have gone bye-bye, and we are now here once a week for a hot cup of tea with me. And that's how it's going to be for a while going forward. So mark your calendar every Tuesday, 1 o'clock East Coast time. We will be here live on my Holly Perkins Fitness page on Facebook if you'd like to join us live, if you have questions. Now listen up, something I'm super excited about. I have an actual agenda for these episodes, and coming in a couple of weeks, maybe next week, I'm not sure, I'm actually going to have a live show here completely dedicated to offering you free coaching. So I'm going to invite you to join me here on camera. Share with me, what are you struggling with? So for those of you that have ever reached out to me via email because you're struggling with something, this is your opportunity to join me on camera, get some free coaching. I'll spend 10 to 15 minutes with you, really taking a look at what are you struggling with? And I'm going to help you figure out what are your next steps to get rid of and get over that struggle you're facing and to move forward so that you can really build that body that you want. And so stay tuned. I'm going to be calling it community coaching. We will be doing it here live. And if you already know that you want to join me for one of those episodes, I'm going to share a link with you right now so that you can copy. I think it is finished. I think it is. Yes, it is. So I'm going to actually share a link with you right now in the comments. If you would like to join me for a live episode here and get some free coaching, you're just going to click on the link that is here on Facebook or in the comments up and down. And you're just going to complete a quick little questionnaire and share with me, what are you struggling with? And I will bring you here with me and support you, answer your questions, and troubleshoot what's going on and really help you to resolve. Can't post comments to some destinations. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if that came up for you guys or not, but I will make sure that Yes, I think it did. There's the link right there. And I think it came up in the comments. But if it didn't, let me know. Let me know. But if you would like to join me, if you're struggling with something, let me know. Instead of emailing me, this is your place for us to work together for free. It's called community coaching, and it will be happening here on Hot Tea with Holly live in the coming weeks. Tracy, okay, guys, here's Tracy's recipe for fresh boiled ginger tea. Okay, she washes the ginger really well so you don't peel it, and then grate it with the skin on. Oh, brilliant. Tracy, that's brilliant. Let it come to a boil for a couple of minutes, then turn it off and let it sit in the pan and cool off. Strain it. I'm going to share her comment right here. Tracy, thank you so much for sharing exactly how you create your ginger tea, because I've done it a couple times, and once or twice I got it right, and a couple times I haven't gotten it right, and I've been like, who's getting it right? I need the recipe. So she doesn't peel it, but she does grate it with the skin on, lets it boil for a couple of minutes, turns it off, lets it cool, and then strains it. Okay? I love fresh ginger tea. It is so good for you. It's soothing for the tummy. It is an adaptogenic herb. It helps to restore your body to full healthy working order of all of your organs. It's anti-inflammatory. It's so good if you have any kind of inflammation or autoimmune issues. I absolutely love ginger. I tend to throw mine into one of my blended drinks that I make. I throw in raw ginger, and I love fresh ginger tea. Heidi. So 3 progressive resistance workouts a week can reverse the 2% loss, I'm over 50, from occurring per year. 100% absolutely yes. 3 dedicated strength training workouts per week can stop the 2% loss of muscle mass as you're aging. So your job is to first, right, prevent the loss of muscle. But with you, Heidi, and just so for those of you guys that are watching, I know Heidi personally. She's coached with me and she's coaching with me again. I'm so excited inside of the Masters. So I know a lot about her circumstance. So specifically for you, Heidi, for you, what you're doing is preserving your muscle. And I believe our job with you is to add some lean muscle. If we could put 3 to 5 pounds of muscle on you inside of the Masters program, it's going to be a game changer for you. So if we put muscle on you, you're absolutely preventing that 2% decline. You're actually working in opposition to it. And that is what I want everyone to do. That is why I talk about strength training so much, because I want people to really be embracing it so that you can avoid this. You can absolutely avoid it. And absolutely, with 3 strength training sessions per week, I don't believe 2 will do it. 2 might slow the muscle loss, but you're never going to gain muscle with 2 strength training workouts per week. Okay. Any other questions? I love ginger tea. How much ginger do you use per cup? So I have made fresh ginger tea in some kind of variation of what Tracy just shared here. I'll share Tracy's comment again. So I've made ginger tea similar to this recipe right here. And when I make it the way that Tracy, my similar recipe, it ends up creating probably 4 cups of tea. And I use a big old chunk of ginger. I mean, probably what's that? A 2-inch fat piece of ginger. I was peeling it and chopping it. So I'm going to do it next to the way Tracy suggested. I'm going to grate it with the skin on because I hate peeling ginger. And I didn't even know that you could do this with the skin on. So I'm going to do it with the skin on just to make it easier. But I would say, Heidi, just bring probably several cups of water to a boil, and that's going to be able to give you several cups per this much ginger. That's what I would say, as opposed to just making 1 cup at a time. You're going to end up making a bunch of cups and then throw it in your fridge and either drink it cold or reheat it. That's what I have done in the past when I've done it. Okay, Heidi, we already got that one. Oh, Tracy, day 8 with COVID. Figured ginger could only help. Absolutely. 100%. How are you? I hope that you didn't get a intense experience with your COVID. I know people are getting a variety of, degrees of illness. Some people are getting real sick and some people just don't feel well. So Tracy, sending you lots of healing energy from me and my community. And I hope that you are 100% back on your feet soon. And I would say absolutely ginger is only gonna help for sure. Let's see what else here. Same here. Thank you all. Great. Thank you for joining me. So listen, if you would like to join me for an episode and ask me or tell me all about your struggles, I am going to help you troubleshoot. And I'm going to give you some of my best advice to get over your hurdles so that you can create an even better body. So I added a link here in the comments. You can just click on that link. It's going to take you to an application, share some thoughts with me, and we will reach out via email to schedule you for an upcoming episode of community coaching here on Hot Tea with Holly. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this in playback, let me know. If you've been in my community, you know that this is a new format and I would love some feedback. Are you liking it? Are you finding it helpful? I do hope as we go forward to continue getting into more in-depth tips and tools and strategies around strength training and intentional nutrition, because the one thing we didn't talk about today is making sure that your nutrition is on point so that you can avoid that loss of muscle. Just like the research article talked about that I showed today, that research article talked about how nutritional strategies are really important to make sure that you're getting adequate protein as well as energy intake in general, to make sure that you're eating enough and eating enough protein so that you're able to keep your muscles. So nutrition really is also a part of keeping our lean muscle mass as we get older. And that is why I focus on strength training and intentional nutrition. I can't talk about one without the other because they are so enmeshed. And that's exactly why I offer strength training programs and a nutrition program, because they are separate, but they are united. It's important to really be cultivating your own strategy for nutrition that matches your muscle building strategies. And if you do that, I promise you're going to age so gracefully. You're going to feel so good every step of the way, and you're going to add muscle and really mitigate that muscle loss that comes simply due to the aging process. If you've just popped in live, I hope you'll go. I am stumbling over my words like crazy. If you've just popped in live, I hope you'll go back and rewatch the recording of this episode, because I covered specifically 2 research citations that just kind of back up what I'm talking about here today. Personally, I don't think I need research to back it up, but if it'll help you believe the mission even more and spread the gospel, then I'm going to share some research. Tracy, so far aches and first couple of days, small cough, good now. Did the monoclonal antibody infusion treatment day 2. Good for you. I'm unfamiliar with that because I haven't really been keeping up with all of my COVID information, but that is awesome. You did that day 2. Amazing. I have to imagine that's helping you. So we are cheering for you, Tracy. Get better and better every single day. And I hope that you'll join me next week for our next live Hot Tea with Holly right here on Tuesday at 1:00. And until then, I'll see you next time. Have an awesome week and hit the weights. Progressive resistance will save the day. I'll see you soon.